Hey,
Hey.
we're on. Technology is our friend. Not really. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bear Girls Weekly Recap of all things awesome. It's a fun night tonight. So far, we've had a little computer glitch on our side, and Jedi Amanda has not been able to dial in because her computer apparently just downloaded an update, and she can't get the darn thing to work. So she might try to dial in later if she can get the thing running. But until then, it's just going to be me and Elizabeth. Say hi, Elizabeth.
Hey there. I
Hi.
I'm curious if people realize why we're always so excited when it goes live, because it's like you hit the button to go live and then you stare and this thing says off air, and you don't know when it's going to say live and you sit there and stare at it for a long time and it's like, yay, it happened. Sorry. We just always start it with yay.
Hey, it works. It's like this moment where you're like, technology.
Yay.
Ah. It's like you're at a campfire. You're trying to start a campfire, and it finally goes, oh, it's fire. Hey, fire. Yeah, except it's internet and it's live streams. Whatever.
Same
You got
thing.
it. Yeah.
Totally.
Look at that. We lost 3 viewers because people, come on now. What's the matter with you?
They didn't like our celebration.
Apparently not. Whatever. I don't care. They
Whatever.
just want to get straight into it and talk about the stuff and the things.
Bam.
So we're just going to talk about the stuff and the things and be like, okay, here's the stuff. What do you want to start with? Do you want to where do you start with?
Well, we should probably wait for Face Off in case Amanda joins us.
Yeah, well, you know
Um,
what? We've already got a question about Legend of Korra. So we could talk about Legend of Korra.
well, then let's just start Legend of Korra.
Legend of Korra, because Legend of Korra, after the insanity of switching to digital-only distribution from Nickelodeon, and there are so many articles online right now talking about just how horribly Nickelodeon has handled this entire thing. If you want to get a lesson in how to really mess up a fandom, just look up all this stuff with Korra and Nickelodeon because they really have not done a great job addressing their fandom. In my opinion, I am not an executive at a network. I don't know anything. I know nothing.
No, and my biggest complaint right now is that we had to watch how many Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle commercials?
Oh my God, yes. So
Hmm.
it's digital only. You can watch it on Nick.com. There are some other places you can watch it as well, but we watched it on Nick.com. The only commercial they run on that freaking channel right now is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm sure it's a
Over
fun movie,
and
but
over
oh,
every commercial break. Hmm.
and it's not like it's a different commercial. It's the
No,
same. Oh, there needs. Okay, Nickelodeon, get it together on the inventory of your ads because you need more ads in inventory. I'm just gonna say
please.
it. You need more ads in inventory. We're just gonna make that. Anyway, let's talk about Korra because Korra's happening, and it's a great show. Aside from all of the horrible way that they've been treated by Nickelodeon, it's still a great show. I really don't care that I'm watching it. Digital, yeah, I wish I had it on my big TV. I've got it on my smaller monitor, whatever. I can deal with that. But it's a great show, and we're pulling into the last half of this season already. It seems like it just started. But we're pulling into the last half of the season, and there's a lot of stuff going on. We learn all about these crazy benders that are coming after Korra.
The Red Lotus.
Those of you who didn't know the history, the White Lotus is a secret organization within their world, and the Red Lotus is apparently a competing organization that believes in chaos. And the Avatar should not be bringing harmony to the world. He should be, he or she, gender neutral, the Avatar, should be tearing down governments so that there will be anarchy and chaos, because chaos, according to the Red Lotus, is the natural order of things. It's a thing. You hear that philosophy in a lot of places. It's a thing, and apparently that's Red Lotus. And these benders who are after Korra, since she's been a child, are part of the Red Lotus. And guess what? So is Unalaq. Unalaq, who last season went through the whole thing, opened up the spirit worlds, turned into a dark avatar, everything like that. He is the one that initially had them go and try to kidnap Korra when she was a child. Who knew?
Who knew?
So we start off this episode where they are chasing after the advisor. I can't remember his name. The advisor
With
from
the nose ring to the earring thing. Yeah, I don't.
Freaks Bowling Out. I kind of like it. It's very like what's that
Oh,
girl's name in the '80s that had that song? It was really cool. Jane
I don't
Child.
know. But every time I see that, I'm just like, oh, but what if it gets caught on something?
Well, you can do that with any earring. If you've got a big hoop or something, you can get caught in anything.
No.
Well, apparently not. Apparently, hoops do not get caught on anything.
Not like
Only
that.
earring nose rings do. That's apparently the only thing that gets caught. Whatever. Anyway, they're chasing after him. They track him down to a little hotel in a little oasis village, and they decide that they are going to stake him out and see when he meets with these other guys and catch him and find out the whole story and everything. Blah blah blah. They figure out that he's supposed to meet them that evening in this garden vale,
Grove.
grove, yeah, something like that, some grove thing. But they couldn't find it on any map anywhere. Well, they wait and they wait and they wait and they never see the guy leave the hotel, and they realize, oh, that place isn't actually in the physical world; it's in the spirit world. And they go over, they break into his room, and sure enough, he is meditating. He's in the spirit world. Okay, so Korra decides she's going to go in after him. So she zooms off into the spirit world, and everybody else is there to protect her and keep her safe while she's in the spirit world. When she's in there, she finds them in the middle of their meeting, and the advisor guy is like, "I'm sorry, it wasn't my fault. Blah blah blah. It didn't work. He got thrown into the mists of despair to wander around for
Apparently
eternity."
he's Italian.
Was that Italian?
That's,
I don't know. Whatever. I had tiramisu yesterday. I don't know.
oh no.
One of these things. Anyway, there was also a time when he finally said, "You know what, Avatar? I'll answer all your questions. Let's just sit down and chat." And that's when we learned all about the Red Lotus and everything. He told her all about this.
Well, he did it to delay. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Because he knew where the advisor was, so he was able to talk to the rest of the Red Lotus and tell them that she was there as well. So, Crazy Water Arms, I really need to remember the names of these people. It's kind of embarrassing that I can't remember the names of these people.
That's what Mako and what's his name call her. It works.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But
Chris Samurai has a very, very good point that I think you will agree with. What if someone metal bended the nose earring thing?
ouch.
That would be a
Yes.
little painful. And,
Oh my god.
that would hurt a lot. But it still looks cool. Again, Jane Child, look her up, back in the 80s. Didn't Prince do something like that? Maybe not. Anyway, you're right. The nose ring thing would hurt like a mother. Anyway, he told his Red Lotus folks, Water Arm and Lava Bender, to go after her. So they do. They go after her, and Mako and Bolin start fighting while Asami takes Korra and takes her out to keep her away from everybody. So all of you Korra Asami fans out there, yeah, Asami and Korra off into the sunset again. You got to be loving life right now. Unfortunately, Mako and Bolin were beaten by Water Arms and Lava Bender, and Lava Bender took off after Korasami. And we see them running down, and all of a sudden, these earth walls entrap them, and they're stuck. Although we find out it wasn't the Red Lotus that got them, it was actually the Earth Kingdom. The Earth Army got her, and they're now on an airship on their way back to the Earth Queen. What?
Crazy, crazy.
No, it's insane. So, I don't know, what'd you think of this episode, Elizabeth?
It was good. It was exciting. But again, the problem with only watching one episode at a time is that it's too short.
No.
Ugh.
Now, I think that they are. Doing like 2 in a row soon or something like that.
Probably.
So yeah, I think they're doing something like that.
The finale is usually at least a two-parter, so.
Yeah, so it'll be some 2-parters, but it's too short. I mean, these are half-hour episodes, and of course with commercials, it's 22 minutes. Just not long enough because everything, really, the entire show this season has done such a good job with the animation and everything. They just really, in my opinion, taken it up a notch from last year. I think last year struggled a little bit being slow. Not so much this year. This year has been constantly something happening constantly.
And this episode was a good balance. I mean, like the stakeout wasn't like any high action, super fast fight scene kind of thing, but they broke it up with some good comedy with like, the people that wanted what's his name's autograph, Nuktuk's autograph, and the fact that they all crammed into this little bitty room with the polar dog bear thing and the get it wrong every time, and playing the games, and it was, it was because it wasn't like huge fight scenes besides like the one at the very end, but it was a good balance.
Yeah, I think it was a really good balance. It's a good balance. I'm curious how they're going to end this thing, and I'm really curious. Well, I know I'm jumping the gun, but this whole thing with the move to digital distribution, I know that Nickelodeon has bought 4 seasons, and this is only the third. I get it. We've still got a fourth book. I have to wonder what all this stuff is doing to the fourth book. If they're going to have to make any changes to the fourth book because of this, and I'm a little worried. Are they going to have to start shortening their stories up? It really worries me. But they have said book 3 is pretty much done. There's no changes to book 3. This is exactly what they wanted to air. They're just airing it digitally. So, yay. We'll go with that. Chris had a comment. He said the Red Lotus is everything I wanted in the first book that I wasn't getting up until the very end. Can't imagine how they're going to compare to the end of book 2. No idea. Yeah, the end of book 2 is pretty epic when you've got huge Korra fighting huge dark Avatar. What was it? Unabatsu. That's a pretty epic ending. I don't know how they're going to compete with that. But then again, maybe they don't have to, because if you remember, the very end of book 1, the last episode almost was like an epilogue, but it was so emotionally powerful at times, it knocked it out of the park. So maybe it doesn't have to be epic. Maybe it just has to be something big for these characters to hit up with. I don't know.
He also asked about bloodbending and end of the world and escape convicts, and I've noticed that no one is bloodbending anymore, which is not a bad thing because that just seemed like it was cheating. But
it is cheating, but
But there's so many new benders. I mean, we've got lava benders and metal benders, and there's more element type things. Yeah, the combustion benders.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Obviously, opening up Spirit World has changed everything. Now you've got airbending with all these new people. It's bringing the Air Nation back and all this stuff. I don't know. So, from what I'm getting, so Chris, you're saying that Korra goes single bloodbender into the Worldscape conflict. Seasons got better. I'm going to say that I thought season 1, book 1 of Legend of Korra was probably better than book 2. Personally, just because, yeah, I mean, it was kind of a smaller story with the Equalists and everything fighting against Korra and the Benders and all that. I guess it was quote unquote a smaller story within Republic City primarily, but the character stuff that happened in there was so great. Just those moments like when oh god, I even forgot his name. The bad guy in book 1, the guy that took the bending away. Oh god, you know what I'm talking about with the mask.
Yeah, the mask guy. I don't remember.
Well, anyway, when he was finally going off with his brother, who he finally found, and they're off in the middle of the water with this boat, and his brother basically kills them both, like commits suicide so he can kill them both in that moment, even though like we can finally be together. Nah, not so much, and then kills them both. And the moment that is still controversial, and I love the fact that people still talk about this a little bit, where Korra was at the edge of the cliff, and the constant debate working was Korra about to commit suicide before Aang showed up. And just this, there was a lot of really interesting character moments in book 1 that I loved, probably more than book 2, even though book 2 was a little more epic in scope and everything. Am I crazy?
No. I think you and I both like character stories better than just like giant end of world battles.
In general, don't get me wrong. I love the end of the world battles like everybody else does, especially if it's like Giles fighting Dark Willow. But I'm just saying, in this particular case, I really thought season 1 was better. Even though season 2 and now season 3, with going into the more spiritual world, does feel a little bit more of the quote unquote wonder of the original Avatar: The Last Airbender. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, Eric, you do have to watch. You're contractually obligated to watch the show, even if Jedi Amanda didn't make it tonight. So
yeah.
So Legend of Korra is back this Friday. It streams on Fridays, nick.com. Apparently, it's delayed to get on Hulu or other places. But if you go to nick.com, you don't need a subscription to anything. You can just watch. Yay! Good times. Um, yeah, so Chris forgot about the Equalists. Sorry, Chris. But yeah, I did enjoy season 1 a little bit better, even though it was kind of a character thing. So yeah. So I don't know. Anything else about Korra?
No, nope. Just I want to watch it all. I don't want to watch these little bitty bites. It's so just not satisfying. Sorry.
It's really frustrating. We've gotten into such a habit of binge watching shows now because of the whole Netflix model of doing things. It's really hard not to at times. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Our society's weird now. It's just
first world problems.
It really is. All right, let's move on. What do we want to talk about? We got a bunch of Sunday night shows we're going to talk about too.
Dude, let's start with True Blood.
True Blood, the last season of True Blood continues. What do we got? This is the 4th episode at the end?
There's three more. And I have to say, this last episode, I was kind of annoyed with it. It was very reminiscent of like the last few seasons where it's like some storylines we literally might have seen 30 seconds of.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Like, we saw this little girl looking out her window and seeing Lafayette and Letty Mae digging. That was it. We didn't see them again. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. Yeah. Didn't see them, didn't see if they found anything, didn't see if they got, like, arrested. Just saw them digging and the little girl saying, Mom!
Mom! Yeah. I mean, I'd forgotten all about them, honestly. And honestly, any storyline having to do with Tara, I'm okay forgetting about. So.
Yeah. And then they introduced more characters. I was like, no, we had enough characters and enough story to make it through 4 more episodes, like and like have some quality time with these characters that are left. And no, they bring Hoyt back with his new girlfriend, who Jason like is eyeing.
Can I tell you the thing that bothered me the absolute most about True Blood this week?
What?
Jason being obsessed with Hoyt's girlfriend.
Yes, that was ridiculous.
Completely ridiculous. Completely out of character. Every bit of character growth that could have happened, anything that happened, thrown out the window so that you can have some kind of awkward thing.
Completely unnecessary. I mean, he just talked about like how he was crazy about Jessica still, and looked like they were moving forward. And no, Hoyt comes back into town, and within 10 seconds, he's like,
Yeah, cannot take his eyes off her. Obviously, imagining sleeping with her like the entire time, and you know that something's going to happen at some point because it's True Blood, and it's going to cause a fight between him and Hoyt, and. I was really, really annoyed with the show. This whole season, this last season, has been pretty strong.
Yeah.
Fell back into all these tropes that they've been playing with for the past few years that just ruined the show.
Yeah, like we didn't need to see Sookie's grandfather.
Nope. Did nothing.
Not at all. I mean, I had fun seeing the doctor because she always makes me giggle, like especially seeing her pull up in her giant Hummer.
That was fun, yeah.
Yeah, but then when she finds out, like, what bloodline Sookie belongs to, she freaks out and leaves, and then Sookie has to go and call her grandfather, and nothing happens. It was
ridiculous.
Yeah.
There was no reason for it. It added nothing to the show. It added nothing to anything. It was just a waste. It's kind of like they just want to show every character one last time.
Don't need to.
Don't need to. Nope. These characters have moved on. See, that's the problem with Glee. Glee died because they wouldn't let characters move on.
Mm-hmm.
Just let characters move on. There are organic things in life that happen, so that you're not going to be with everybody the whole time. Just let it happen. Just,
Yeah. There was one nice little snippet story. I thought it was kind of fun. It starts out with Arlene having what turned out to be a sex dream with Keith. And she wakes up, and then he finally does, like, she's sad at her restaurant. I don't remember exactly why. And he comes in, and they start dancing, and she's like, but I'm happy, positive, we can't have sex. And he's like, well, then we'll just dance. And, there was one little nice moment.
That was actually a great moment. I thought that was a great moment because just the look on her face when he said that, she, like, started crying and smiling and just danced with the guy. And it was okay.
Yeah.
And holy crap, for a show like True Blood that is so completely obsessed with everybody having sex with everybody else, to have a truly sincere, tender moment was shocking and really needed, and well done. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great moment.
Yes. And we had more flashbacks of Bill, which I'm not sure how I feel about those. I don't know.
It's kind of like they're trying to say, because knowing that this is the last season and wrapping things up, they want to close the story that it's about. Who's this story about? We want to make sure we close it all up. It's almost like they're saying that this entire show was Bill's story. And that doesn't make sense to me, because it
Yeah.
hasn't been Bill's story at all. But they're treating it like it was, with all of the flashbacks and going back to his past and everything like that. So I'm not sure why that's the way it is, why they're doing that.
No. I mean, the most exciting part was still Eric and Pam chasing down Sarah Newland with the I'm going to say it wrong. I can't remember what they're called.
Yakuza?
Yeah, Yakuza, that's it.
Which I don't think they're technically Yakuza. I think they're technically part of that corporation, but they sure do act like the Japanese mafia.
Yeah. Yes, they use their super strong satellites and track down Sarah Newland at the Fellowship of the Light, or whatever it was called. Yeah, Fellowship of the Light training camp. And they're on their way to get her. And she's having all these hallucinations with the 4 guys that she slept with. Of course, first it was just 1, but then it was 2, and then it was 3, and then it was 4. And, several of them have lost their heads, which was kind of funny. And then, oh God, what's his name? Her husband and then the Buddhist guy are arguing over whether or not she should go out a Christian or go out a Buddhist.
I know. That was great. I love that argument of, like, you should die a Christian, you should die a Buddhist. Oh God. She's like, I'm not gonna die, and all of it. She's going crazy. I'm guessing it has something to do with the cure that she drank making her crazy. I'm just guessing on that. I don't know. I have nothing. The nice thing that I found about that, though, is Eric and the Yakuza, they decided to team up, So they tracked them down to Sarah Newland's sister's house, and she was cured, obviously. That's where we ended off the previous episode. And Eric just got so frustrated because she was like, she's the future, she's Numi, she's not Sarah, blah, blah, blah. Eric just gets so mad he just stakes her, and that's when they decided to use satellites. But then I'm thinking, why didn't you just use the satellites in the first place? Why did we go through all that? If you have such powerful satellites that are going to be able to pick her up that easily?
Because they had to have a reason. Like, they didn't know there was a cure yet, and a cure means big bucks. And so big bucks, Japanese business and government will work together, and then they can use the satellites.
You are right. You are absolutely right.
But yeah, so I think this was probably one of the weaker episodes of the whole season, or more disappointing, because it was just like, it took what was a pretty good story and just made it crazier and watered it down.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. Tyro, James. Hey, James, how you doing? Hey, welcome back, dude. Haven't seen you in a long time. Said you almost fell asleep trying to explain that episode of True Blood. The show has really fallen hard. It's true. It's fallen.
Yeah.
And again, this episode, I think, has been the strongest one in the past several. So the fact that we're back to these things, we're like, True Blood. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. Nathan had a question. Nathan wants to know if we have any thoughts on where all of Bill's flashbacks are leading.
I don't know. That's why it's so weird. I don't understand the point of them.
I don't know either. I mean, I get it. I think narratively, like I said before, they're treating it like the entire show was Bill's story, which doesn't make sense to me. But what's the end game? Where are we going with this?
I mean, the episode ended with, Suki, I guess she decides, well, I can't make him any sicker by having sex with him, so let's just make sure he goes out with a bang. And so they're on the floor in front of the fireplace, their usual spot.
He's dying. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Right here. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? There was the other thing with Jessica. So Jessica was watching after
Adeline.
Adeline, yes. And of course, her and her soon-to-be brother have fallen in love and are having all sorts of sex all over the place. And they were lured into Crazy Vampire's lair, who was dating Jason and was now jealous.
Violet.
Violet, thank you. So she took him downstairs and showed him all these sex toys and said, "Have fun." They weren't into it and everything. And Jessica's like, "Well, they're not in danger. I can't feel them." But then the next morning, found out they're in danger because Violet comes down, and this is kind of creepy. She comes down, and they're like, "Oh, hey, we just weren't that in. We didn't use any of your toys." And like, that's okay. We're gonna use them now. And she like throws them across the room and handcuffs her to the bed. And Jessica like, "Oh no!" and like takes off. So something's happening with them crazy with Violet. I don't know what. Um, I don't know how I feel about the whole Adeline story.
I know it's a little. I mean, I like Andy's part in it.
Yes, and there was another really good moment in there. You just reminded me of that Andy's part in this when they actually drove to Oklahoma because they thought they were staying at Lake House up there. And there was this moment where he went out there and it was like so peaceful. Andy like started crying. It's like this is nothing like our life. I can't keep trying to protect you guys every second. I can't keep doing it. I need to have a little peace in life. And there's this moment where like, wow, that's like a real moment from Andy, and it was really. I thought it was a great, great, great.
Yes.
So, good on you, Andy, for coming to that kind of realization. I gotta say, that was kind of awesome.
Yes, but so for that part, I like the storyline, but the actual story, I don't know.
Yeah, no. And going back again, Nathan, I really don't know where these flashbacks are heading because it's all just Bill and how he met his wife and what led up to this thing. Uh,
It's just so strange. 'Cause we've seen like Bill flashbacks in the past, 6 seasons, and it's been more about like how he turned into a vampire and when he came back from the war, and now we're going back even before that, and I don't get it.
I don't get it either. There's something we're missing. They've got a plan, which I don't see, but we got 3 episodes for them to figure this out, and I think we're all going to be surprised because I have no idea where this is going. No.
I don't know. I just hope they don't throw anything else in here because they've done it in the past where it's like, oh, it's finale. Let's just finish everything.
Yeah, right at the last second.
And it's like, we got nothing out of that.
Hey, so what are the chances that Bill by the end of this thing is like made human again? Like this cure or something does something to his human, and that's what we're talking so much about when he fell in love with his wife and all that.
Like having sex with the fairy is going to cure him.
No, 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 no. They're definitely going to get the cure from Sarah Newland.
Right.
They're
Right.
going to get the cure.
But will they get it to Bill in time? And that's just going to, I mean, the cure is just going to make him a healthy vampire.
I know, but I'm just wondering if there's something because of the fact he was infected by Fae. I don't know. I'm grasping straws. And I'm grasping straws because I feel pretty sure that the writers of True Blood have been grasping at straws in the past before. So
Oh, yes.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Oh, Chris agrees with me about Glee, by the way. She was split into 2 different shows, high school and the college students. Yes, let them graduate, go away, start new. You miss an opportunity, Glee. I will yell at you forever for missing that opportunity. All right. What else about True Blood?
Chris also asks, it seems to be they're playing on the audience's emotions and sympathies. Do you think it's about having people have a good feeling when the show ends? Not necessarily a good feeling, but like a good ending. Not just a happy ending, but at least, I don't know. There's just been some shows that I'm just like, what? That's it. And of course, my biggest complaint when it comes to ending shows would be alphas.
Oh, you will never forgive alphas.
Never forgive alphas. Ever, ever. And I'm in good company because neither will, what's his name, Sheldon Cooper. Mm-hmm.
For Big Bang Theory?
Yes.
For those of you who have never watched Alphas, it was a 1-season show on, was it 2 seasons? 1 or 2?
Might have been 2.
Might have been 2. I don't remember. But anyway, they ended the series on a very ambiguous note, we'll say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a very, very sad ambiguous note.
Very.
Very sad ambiguous note, especially for one character. I won't spoil
Maybe. We don't know for sure, but probably.
Probably a very sad. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys if you want to watch Alphas. It's actually a good show. I enjoyed Alphas. It was a fun show. I'm really disappointed it didn't last longer on Sci-Fi. I get the ratings weren't there, but I thought it was a strong show.
Better than Sharknado 2.
Oh God, yes. Not to mention Sharktopus versus Terracuda.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, James says that True Blood's going to stumble its way to an ending that will satisfy at least 3% of its audience, but not very much. You're probably right. Probably right.
Probably so, because they keep making things more complicated. I want like some quality time with the core characters, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah, and again, it's really sad because True Blood is one of the shows that I would argue really catapulted HBO into where it is now. That was one of the shows, one of those early shows, when it came out, everybody was watching. It was like, HBO's got the best stuff around. Oh my God, it's so edgy and forward
I wouldn't
thinking.
say early. I would say it was like phase 2.
Phase 2, that's probably right, because you got to talk about Sopranos and stuff like that.
Sex in the City and Deadwood and yeah.
You're right.
Six Feet Under.
I didn't watch any of those shows on HBO.
I did.
I know you did, but I didn't. So for me, my early thing was True Blood and all that. So, all right, we could talk about this all night. What else we got to go? We need to
Last Ship.
Last Ship. The Michael Bay show Last Ship, which apparently is better than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know that. I'm basing that on nothing. But it's a Michael Bay show about the last ship that has a potential cure to a pandemic that is wiping out humanity as we know it, and pretty much already has. It's just how can we save whoever's left, kind of thing.
Last night was good.
I'm really enjoying the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it still blows me away because it's not a traditional Michael Bay vehicle with boom, 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 boom. There's a little bit of that, but less than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or 90% of the shows out there. 90% of the other shows out there, grammar. There's an order. Yeah, and this one was good. It's actually really, really interesting because when they first started this, they told the communications officers to constantly monitor all the broadcasts, and they were making logs of all these broadcasts, and we finally saw a positive from that because they heard a broadcast from someone that they had logged before. She said she was the last person alive on their boat, but when they went back, that same broadcast, there were like 50 people on the boat, and there was a broadcast there were 15, and now she's the last one left, and they're like, wait a minute, that virus was all over the boat, and she's alive. That means she's got a natural immunity. And it was just really interesting. When I realized finally, it's like, oh, God, they really are logging all this stuff, and they can track it, and they're able to put together, oh, this could be someone who's immune. We need to get this person. I thought that was an awesome, awesome beat. It was really, really well done.
Yes.
In my opinion. So, yeah, they then figure out we have got to head out to this ship and get this person. Unfortunately, Russians are back. The Russians have been hunting them down because they want the cure. The admiral that's in charge of this Russian ship is very much, whoever has a cure controls things. The governments are done. The world as we know it's over. We're going to start over, and whoever has got this cure is going to control things, and I'm going to get that cure. So he is working really hard to get this researcher on the American ship. So they're hounding each other, and they're able to intercept this broadcast because they had to let this girl know they were coming after her. They were able to trace that radio, so they knew where it was going. They went out there. There was a skirmish. The USA guys, they got the girl. They got her off the ship. Unfortunately, the commander in Tex, that goofy, annoying army guy, mercenary guy, their boat was shot up and ended up sinking. They had to abandon the ship. The boat? I don't know how that works. I'm not a Navy guy.
The Zodiac.
The Zodiac. Thank you. I could not remember the name of that damn thing. Jeez. Anyway, Commander came back and said, you're going to cancel all rescue operations because basically if a helicopter comes out there and finds them, the Russians will be able to spot that helicopter and track back to wherever the ship is. So he ordered them to stop, but they didn't really listen. And actually the Russians sent out a drone, and the ship shot down the drone, and that made the Russians think, aha, so they really want to save this guy. We have an advantage now. So, whoa, crazy things happen. That's all right. Long story short, they got the girl back. They're going to start doing some tests on her to see if she can actually make something. They found out that she is immune to all known strains of the virus, which is really, really good because then they can start to develop some kind of vaccine for this. But then there's also a lot of time where they spent with the commander and Tex just floating in the water trying to swim to a reef that was about 20 miles away from wherever they lost their Zodiac.
They think.
They think. They're pretty sure. It's hard to tell. You're in the middle of the ocean. It's really hard to tell what's going on in the middle of the ocean. So they're trying to swim out there, and there's some good moments. It was some good stuff. I mean, what did you think?
It was good. I liked, the moments in the water. I almost liked Tex. Almost. Yeah. I still don't trust him. He's about to die. He was about to die there. I still don't trust him. Yeah, and it was really cool with the girl that got off the boat. I was a little worried. I was like, but what if she's been around them? What if she has like some on her? It seemed like they took her in too easily. I don't know. Okay, good. But yeah, then the twist at the end I wasn't expecting.
Was not expecting that either. So the Nathan James, the ship, sent out the helicopter for another search because they figured out that if he was swimming anywhere, he was going to try to make it to that reef. So they sent their helicopter out to do a search, and they're all watching the monitors. And they come across an item in the water, and they're like, oh, there they are. And they're switching back and forth between the conversation between the commander and Tex and the helicopter feed that's going through at CIC. And they're switching back and forth. The helicopter's coming in, and Tex and the commander see these lights from a helicopter coming in. They're like, oh, wow, this is great. Hey, we're here. He's found us. And they're like, oh, this is crazy. The thing is, each time you come back, you notice that it's a little bit different. It's not quite right. Yeah. Until finally you go to the CIC, and they're like, it's just debris, no survivors. At the same time, you switch back, and the commander's getting hauled up into a helicopter. You're like, whoa, huh? Wait a minute. Who's that? He gets in the helicopter, and he gets rifles pointed at him. Those are Russian soldiers. They have been taken by the Russians. Where did they get a helicopter? They did not have a helicopter on the ship. I am a little surprised with it. I don't know.
He's a big strategist. Maybe he should want them to think he had a helicopter.
You can't hide a helicopter on a boat like that.
Maybe he can.
No.
He wrote a book.
No. He wrote a book on naval strategy. That doesn't mean he can squeeze a helicopter below decks on his ship.
He clearly did.
There's something we're missing. We're missing something. I don't know what, but we're missing something.
Unless, like, after, they snuck away after, was it Gitmo, where they were, or wherever it was, they had him trapped. Maybe, like, well, we lost him. We might as well go see what we can find. Maybe they got something there.
Yeah, maybe, but there's still no room on that boat for a helicopter.
It just has to sit on top.
Did you see the pictures of the boat? There's no room for a helicopter on this boat.
Maybe, you haven't seen Life of Pi, but so maybe they did like a Life of Pi thing where they built a raft that they towed with the boat that they had just for the helicopter.
They're not towing a helicopter behind their boat. There's no, stop it. Just stop it. No.
You haven't seen Life of Pi. It's possible.
Yes, with a helicopter. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes. Wonder what happens when that helicopter tries to land. No.
Whatever.
Whatever. Anyway, something going on. It's also interesting. If you watch the show, you'll notice that every time they show the Nathan James, it is just this gorgeous ship, just pristine, just sailing through. Every time they show the Russian ship, it's all rusty and decrepit.
Except for the captain's dining room.
Yes, captain's dining room is immaculate with like
4-star dining and
stuff and everywhere, and he's clearly like forcing that researcher's wife to sleep with them and her daughter to have dinner with them and everything. He's just a bad dude.
Bad dude.
Bad dude. I don't know. Anyway,
I still don't understand it. I mean, he wants the cure for himself. He'll get the cure a whole lot faster if he lets her finish it where she's at. Come on. Well, although he claims to have something that she needs.
Yeah, his researcher is telling him he's got, and he might have something that she needs. We don't know. We did get at the very beginning. We got a little flashback because this guy was trying to convince people to do some different research and a little more risky research.
Right.
So he did some research on himself. So we got a little backstory about him. And apparently his wife died. Was it his wife or his girlfriend? I'm not sure which.
I think it was his girlfriend.
Okay. His girlfriend was exhibiting symptoms, and he had experimented on himself. And the guy's like, "What are you doing out here? And are you insane?" And clearly, It worked on him apparently, but it made other people sick, and he was part of the problem. Way to go, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably where that human gene came from that's mutated the virus. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's good. 'Cause they did find a human gene that's making it all hard. He's probably got the human gene. Yeah, absolutely. Why didn't I think of that? Good job.
that's what he has that she doesn't have.
Yep. He has the
Boom,
gene.
solved it, done.
Done and done. What I
That's
want to know
because
about the last ship is whether this is going to be a multi-season arc.
I know there's a
'Cause-
few shows that we're watching. And I'm like, is this gonna wrap up in one season? Where can they go? Is this gonna go on forever? I don't. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. It seems like it would be unfortunate if they really tried to stretch this out. I don't know though. I could be wrong. Maybe there's some other things. Heck, Walking Dead's been going on forever, and it's just people running around in the zombie apocalypse. There's stories. You can tell
That's
stories.
different.
I guess, but I mean, you got to think if they find the cure, yay, story's over.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with Leftovers and Strain a little bit.
Yeah, don't get me started on the strain. Well, you'll get me started on the strain in a minute.
Ah, yes.
Definitely started on the strain in a minute. Yeah, Chris said all he can picture is a helicopter trying to attack and kill someone on a little boat.
With the tiger.
I've just got this. Oh God, you're killing me.
That's what I'm here for.
To kill me? Thank you.
No, to make you think outside the box.
Well, you're definitely making me think outside the box if you want me to imagine that a Russian admiral built a little raft that they can tow behind their ship and carry a helicopter they found in Guantanamo Bay. That is outside the box.
All right.
You're like, my work here is done. Yes.
Boom. Drop the mic.
Yeah. If you guys are not watching The Last Ship, I am really enjoying the show. It's better than I thought it was going to be. I really thought I would have trouble getting into it. Honestly, considering that it's produced by Michael Bay. I understand he doesn't have a hand in every episode because nobody is able to do that at his level right now, especially with Ninja Turtles coming out. But you just have to assume when someone produces something like that, there's a certain standard you expect. When J.J. Abrams produces something, I expect it's going to be similar to Lost. If Michael Bay produces something, I expect it will share some similarities to the Transformers movies, which I don't think are good things. So, I don't know. But I am really enjoying it. The character developments have been going really well. There's been some interesting stuff. The one little side plot, the B story that I didn't really like was this one guy that last week wanted to get off the ship, is back on the ship, and he's trying to regain the trust, and he didn't quite do it. And
Yeah.
wasted my time.
Not needed. Yeah.
Don't need it. Whatever.
I thought they all gained their respect back when they re-enlisted for didn't have to, but they did.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't have to, but they re-enlisted. That's the way it's supposed to work.
That was done. Move on.
All right. Speaking of moving on, watch the show. Definitely watch the show. Before we move on, Chris just popped up with a question. Have we tried to catch on Defiance? I actually watched all of Defiance the first season. It was a roller coaster for me. It started off really good, and then it just turned into this. I think it ended fairly strong. I have not been able to watch any of the second season yet, but I'm only like 3 or 4 episodes in, so I could mainline that in a weekend, and I'll be caught up on that. I'm curious, though, what you think of it. So let me know what you think of Defiance, because I enjoy the concept. The creators behind it, the producers behind it have quite the pedigree as well. So with their creative history, I was really excited about it. I'm curious what Seasons 2 is doing. It's kind of like the same thing happened to me with Falling Skies. I watched Falling Skies first season, and then I didn't dial in on the second season. I was actually on set shooting when the second season started, and I just got behind, and I never watched Falling Skies. Never like on the 4th season, and I'm like, oh, Falling Skies is still going on. I have no idea what's happening. I don't really want that to happen to Defiance, but I don't know. It is a decent show, though. I enjoyed the show when I was watching it. So maybe we'll hear from Chris what he thinks about it, but let's move on. What's next on our list?
Either Leftover or Strain.
I am not watching Leftovers, so if you want to talk about Leftovers, you can, but I have nothing to add, really.
I still haven't made up my mind on it. I'm caught up, and this last episode was another single character episode. I actually liked the other single character episode as well. That was one with the Reverend. This one was with Nora, who's the woman who lost her husband and both of her kids on the departure. Um, it was, although what they kept showing is like the big crazy story wasn't really the story. What I was super excited, well, I guess I'll back up. So she goes to this conference in New York, which is kind of an annual, I guess, survivors of the departure thing, and she's working with the Department of, oh God, what's it called? It's like Department of Sudden Departures, whatever. They're the ones that go around and like interview the survivors who are making claims. You know, like they have to go through this huge questionnaire, answer all these questions, and then they get their claim check, basically. Like the government's, insurance isn't paying, so the government's paying all these claims.
Can I just say, first of all, what an awkward title it is, the Department of Sudden Departures? I mean, that's
something like that. I'm just making it up, but that's not that far off.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a woman there. She shows up, and someone's already picked up her badge. And the woman at the desk, like, oh, I'm sure it's just an accident. Just go into the reception. You'll find him. And someone's actually signed in with her name, and has like, she gets kicked out of the hotel because the night before the other Nora trashed the hotel bar. And it turns out it was just one of the protesters who's like, you people, it's all conspiracy. The government's not really taking your answers. They just want you to think something's progressing, and there's all kinds of cults and conspiracy theorists out there. So that was kind of lame. What was cool, though, is she met some guy at the bar who had written a book, like, what's next? And he lost four family members. She only lost 3, which is, both is huge. And she just starts yelling at him, like, there's no moving on. Like, you never stop hurting. The episode actually started with her hiring a prostitute to shoot her while she was wearing a Kevlar vest. Because, like, whenever she starts to feel herself moving on, she'll do something kind of like, the teenagers that cut themselves or whatever. She'll actually do some other crazy thing, like pay a prostitute $3,000 to shoot her. Yeah, it was weird. I'm just like, oh, I'm sure this. Yeah. I really want to read the book to see just how HBO they've made this. Yeah. Anyway, the good part of the thing was the last few minutes where 2 stories that seemed totally random finally came together. So Magical Wayne's back in the story. This guy sees her just yell at. He was like the prophet kind of guy who, like the senator in the very first episode, paid a lot of money to go see at his ranch. Yeah. So this one guy saw the big thing in the bar where she yelled at the guy who wrote the book because he had moved on and she didn't think you should move on. So he takes her to this apartment and she has to pay $1,000 to see what happened or something like that. And she blindly gives him $1,000, walks in the room, and it's Magical Wayne. That's actually what they called him. I didn't call him that. And he helps her get past it and move on and get rid of the pain. So we don't really learn much more about him, but at least it went somewhere. And I think she's going to hook up with the police chief.
Okay. And again, I don't know much about the show, but I just kind of assumed that hookup was going to happen just by seeing the little commercials. Just the way they're showing it in commercials, I'm like, they're going to sleep together.
Yeah, and again, I mean, this one was better than the last episode. I've gotten to where I'm interested by the story, but I just don't really like the characters much.
That's fair.
It's like, I mean, this one, the 2 single character episodes I've liked more than just the other episodes.
So are these characters, is it that you don't like these characters because they're bad people, or are they badly written characters?
I don't know. Like, the chief's daughter annoys the crap out of me. Like, in the last episode, she and her high school friends, like, stole the baby Jesus out of the manger nativity set. Like, it was departure. And she just, like, I don't know, she was just kind of crazy about it. They were, out drinking, and they're trying to decide what to do with it, and she pours a bunch of gasoline on it, sets it on, like, the lid of the cooler, and floats it out into the river or the lake, and is going to, like, shoot a fire bow and arrow thing at it. But then she backs down. She's just, I I don't know. She's like, even her friend who's the more wild and crazy friend thinks she's acting kind of stupid. So it's like, yeah, she really is. It's hard to describe. I almost want to read the book just so I can see what these characters are supposed to be like and get through it faster.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I didn't even realize this was from a book.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's Leftovers book, which is not Left Behind.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't think so either, because Left Behind is the other one.
I don't know.
Left Behind is the one that is specifically about the rapture, but Leftovers is not really about the rapture.
I forgot the author's name, but he and Damon Lindelof, writing the screenplay, and Damon Lindelof's executive producer, and yeah, so it still feels very Lost-ish. Like I still always have more questions, or just half the time don't feel like it's going anywhere. But I liked Lost better, so it's I don't know. Not one of the better HBO ones, I don't think.
So is it going to make it to a second season? Has it been renewed yet?
I have no idea.
I don't think I've heard of it being renewed. So
I don't think so.
Back in the lineup yet or not? So do you think it'll make it?
Eesh. I don't know. I mean, I just don't think it's. Of course, all the taglines I put up are like captivating, no words. I'm like, that's because you don't know how to describe it because it's not that interesting. I don't know. I mean, it is. The story's interesting, but the characters aren't.
That's a great way to spin a review. I have no words. It's really bad.
Exactly. Like, I want to like this a lot, but I'm just not there yet.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's you know what that sounds like?
What?
It sounds like a great segue to the stream.
Yeah, that's one that I'm mad at.
Yeah, before we do that, so Chris did come back and he said Defiance is really good. It's a great idea, which I agree. It's a great idea. If you don't know the story of Defiance, basically, one day this huge armada of alien ships show up at Earth, and they're actually planning to colonize Earth because their original system, they couldn't live there anymore, and the probes originally, there was no sentient life on Earth. Well, now there is. These guys have been traveling a long time. So there's this big conflict, and there's really crazy stories where basically the ships just start blowing up and then crashing down into Earth, and the aliens are forced to live with humanity and everything. It's a great concept. So I want to get back up with Defiance. I think it's a great concept for a show. He says that Falling Skies is even better, but he's a season behind the current season right now, so you can only go with what you got. That's one that I would need to really sit down and have a hardcore session watching. I would love to. I don't know if I'll ever have time to, but I would love to catch up on Falling Skies. So I just wanted to bring those out. But yeah, your segue is perfect for this.
Well, considering we were yelling at the TV last night watching the stream. No, that is the stupidest thing ever. Why would no? That makes no sense. Oh my! And it's women. That's another thing that makes me mad. Both the two stupidest characters on this show right now are both women. I'm just like, come on, let's have some stupid men. Well, besides Sam. Yeah, but the others are worse. I think. I don't know.
They are worse. They're worse because they're just flawed characters. Samuel Gamgee's just a stupidly written character. These are just flawed characters. And I don't yell at TV. I like to give shows the benefit of the doubt. I actually don't like to talk much during TV shows. I generally just like to watch. Even during the commercials, I just kind of like to be, okay, let me take in what I got. Okay, I'll get back and watch. I really don't like distractions while I'm watching a show. I was yelling at the TV. We were screaming at each other about how stupid what was going on at the TV. And this is a show I really want to like. I really like it a lot.
Yeah.
They're totally throwing away a chance at that because they're just making stupid decisions left and right on the show. It's ridiculous. The strain has gotten ridiculous. I am tempted to not watch it again. I was so mad at it last time.
Yes. Okay, so the two main scientists, they go to the house where the little girl, who was dead but then showed up alive at her dad's house, green and walking like this, and basically turned him into another crazy zombie thing. They go and they confront the little girl who is standing in the dark listening to some little kid song, half her hair's fallen out. Again, she's pretty much like white, green, gray. She turns around, she's got blood from here down. And of course, there's the 6-foot long proboscis tongue forky thing that comes out and attacks them. So then the Filch character, I can't remember his name, he comes out and cuts her head off. And then there's another one that they have to cut. The dad comes after him, and they cut that head off. And she starts freaking out, the female scientist, because they're not following protocol. What protocol does the CDC have for little girls covered in blood with 6-foot tongues?
See, and this had just happened. She just did an autopsy on a person. The entire internal organ had been desiccated, turned into something else, new thing, completely rewrote the body into something totally different. Clear that you're not dealing with what you would call a human at this point. Yeah. She was the one cutting open and freaking out when he pulled out this huge, long organ thing. And then she goes and sees a baby little girl attack, and then she sees another guy attacked, and she starts freaking out when they kill these things.
Not because they were attacked by these monsters, but because the monsters were killed and not according to protocol.
They're people. We don't hunt people. We cure them.
They're not people.
I have never met a person who shot a 6-foot proboscis out at me that's covered in worms that will infect me and turn me into a vampiric zombie. That's not a person.
No.
It's infuriating because they did this autopsy. They have video of it. She even made Samuel Gamgee give her the camera that he took the video on. There's video evidence that you're dealing with something that is not human. And you're going to freak out about this. It was infuriating to me. She's like, I can't be part of this. We cure people. We don't kill them. It's like, these aren't... What? Did you miss the part where we were attacked by an 8-year-old child with a 6-foot-long snaky thing shooting out of her throat? Did you miss the part where you're almost killed by an airline pilot in a hotel who was drinking blood? Did you miss the part where the little kid's dad attacked you? Did you miss that? Were you not there?
Yeah, and then the other not so bright, although she slightly redeemed herself. So just because it was funny. So one of the other survivors, he's not like a pilot or the rock star or the lawyer. He's just the other one. He goes home, and his wife, who we talked about last week, she's just one of the worst characters. I mean, she catches him grabbing like this tray of raw meat out of the fridge, drinking the blood with the little thing coming out of his mouth, and she's just like, are you feeling okay? Okay, so that was last week. They made a smart decision in the beginning, and he convinces her to take the kids to her mom's. That's good.
Yes, I will say that the dude has at least been able to keep himself together long enough to say, this is crazy, I want to get my family out of here kind of thing.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yes, I wish they would have. I mean, we saw this one coming. I was like, oh, I'm about to stop watching this because the dog is standing at the door like, get me out of here. That's not normal. And she's like, oh, I'll go put, what's his name, in the shed. Oh, no, you can leave him here.
Yeah, the dog's like, no, can I leave? Can I go? It's like,
You
no,
people are stupid. I want out.
Oh, really? I'm okay leaving.
Yeah, so the wife comes back. I'm not sure why, but she did. And it's all right. I saw that coming.
We'll address that in a minute, Chris.
We talk about zombies a lot. He missed our zombie conversations. So the wife comes back. Oh, I got the kids. I'm back. Left the kids at mom's, and no one's in the house. And she sees the dog's collar like torn off. Like, oh no! And she follows this trail of blood behind the shed, and there's the dog like guts hanging out, and she's like, oh no, and then she hears something in the shed, and she's like, honey, Ansel, that's his name, Ansel, why did you do that? And
first off, let's rewind just a little bit. Just
about all the Catholic stuff?
No. She goes, she sees the collar ripped off with blood on it. She follows the trail of blood to the dog, who is been drained of blood, dead in the back, guts ripped open and everything, and she's sitting there going, Ansel, why did you do that? What? Why did you? Why would you do? What is wrong with you, woman? What is
Yeah.
wrong? Continue.
Yeah. There's a lot of noise going on in the shed. She opens it up, and fortunately, Ansel, again, probably the smartest character on the show right now, and he's half dead, comes charging at her, but stops because he has tied himself up with a chain and a neck collar, so he can't make it out the door or even to the door. And he pulls it together enough to say, "Get out of here."
And you
She
know
doesn't.
what?
She doesn't.
She doesn't. She's just sitting there, like literally like this. She's like looking at him. She's
Yeah.
just looking at him with this crazy thing, not saying anything. He's like, "Get out of here! I'm serious." I mean, the dude's gray. His eyes are blinking sideways. He's
Bleedy
like,
and covered in blood, and yeah.
and he even yells at her. He yells at her, and she's like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not a normal human reaction.
No. Her one, the one part that kind of made me giggle. So finally, she closes the shed and locks it, and as she's about to walk inside, her asshole of a neighbor walks up. And it's like, "You need to do something about your dog." And she's like, "What?" And like, assuming it's the dog in the shed making all the noise. It's like, your dog, I took care of it when he came over to my place, and I told your husband. And she's like, "You've hit my dog?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Well, I think you need to teach him a lesson again, because I'm not strong enough to do it." And so she's like, "You ready?" He's taking his belt off, and she pretty much shoves him in the shed and locks the door.
Yep, and sure enough, you hear the screams and pouring out the bottom of the door and everything. And she just walks away.
off.
Woman is crazy. I'm glad those kids are out of the house because she is crazy. She'll be feeding the kids to that man soon because she is crazy.
So she did turn the corner from stupid to crazy.
Yes, yes. Now, I'm wondering if she was crazy the whole time and I just thought she was stupid because that's possible. Just maybe so dependent on Ansel for just everything that she can't function without. I don't know.
I don't know.
Horrible, horrible character.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. In the meantime, the rest of the show.
Oh yeah, there's another show. Yeah.
Yeah, the show is actually going on. There are other characters besides these two women who are driving me crazy. Let's see. So the big bads, they've hired this Dutch programmer, hacker woman to crash every server and in New York and just basically slow things down to a crawl, so no one will be able to post any crazy pictures they see on Facebook or Twitter, or even I don't even know if they can make a phone call on a cell phone or anything like that. So they don't want panic to spread so that their little creatures can do their infecting. And of course the old guy, he's met with the Secretary of Health and convinced her that, yes, you know what, there was some biological agent on that plane that the military is trying to cover up. I've been talking to the White House. And so he's kind of convinced her it wasn't obviously the plane failure, but in the meantime he collapses because of course he's been almost dead this whole time. And they're preparing him for his liver transplant, and he's so upset because the master, the big bad, 9-foot-tall zombie vampire master dude, didn't give him the miracle he was promised. So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen with that. Could he change sides or something? Because he seems pretty upset that he didn't get what he was promised.
I don't know, but it's a little late for that, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll decide. I don't know.
I don't know.
Also, Samuel Gamgee admitted that he's the guy that let the box out.
Yeah.
That was pretty much what happened. He's like, "My wife is dying with cancer. I don't have any money. You have insurance. We have cancer," which really, insurance really isn't going to help much if you have cancer. That's true. But anyway, he pretty said, "I had to do it," and they got mad at him, and F hit him in the face and stormed off. "I don't even know you." And then the other chick said, it was an interesting moment. She held her hand out, and he started to reach up and grab him. He's like, "No, give me the phone," because he was the one actually videotaping her and F do the autopsy on the not human thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened there. Who knows what's going to happen with Samuel? I don't know. I should really learn his name because it's really not Samuel Gamgee. This is
And it
not the
like
Hobbit
it's a
anymore.
really like gym or something. It's like a one syllable, super
Yeah,
easy. Yeah,
it's like when the writers got bored and they're like, Jim.
yeah,
Call him Jim. Whatever.
yeah. But
Um,
now F is paired up with Filch, which is good. They're gonna start going down the passenger list and chopping off heads and burning bodies. So yay!
I
And
guess, but it's just so on the nose. Like after that, after the lady researcher ran off, and I really feel bad that I cannot remember her name, but that's how annoyed I
her
am.
name's Nora.
Nora. Okay, so Nora, she ran off,
We
and
have
there's
several
this little
Noras going
thing where
on.
Phil's like, some people just can't process this. They can't understand what's happening. They just did an autopsy on a not human thing. What is left to understand? It was very frustrating. If you cannot tell, if you can't tell by the tone of my voice, I'm very frustrated.
A little bit.
Because again, I was really, really psyched for this show. I really was excited to see this coming. It looked creepy. The concept was awesome. It's a Guillermo del Toro produced thing. I'm like, yeah, this could be cool.
I want to know how that little girl got home.
She walked.
That's a long ass walk.
Is it?
I'm trying to remember what borough she started because they landed at JFK.
Uh-huh.
So we're talking like way down in Brooklyn,
Well, they were moved to the morgue.
which I think was still wasn't that Brooklyn? I know. They tell you what borough and what the address. They actually give you an address, but
Yeah,
it seemed like it was quite a ways. Like she may have started in Queens and gone over to like the Bronx or something. I was like, no way. There's no way.
that would be a long time. But it's dark. It's night. She got there at night.
Hmm.
Who's looking for a zombified girl in the middle of the night in New York? Come on.
So did she do bridge, tunnel? What did she take? A subway? How did she? Yeah.
I don't know.
Just saying.
I'm not sure whether they thought that much about it or if they just picked random addresses that okay, this guy's in Bronx, this guy's in Brooklyn, this guy's somewhere else. But I think that this is supposed to be kind of maintained within the island of Manhattan. So I think that most of the stuff that we're seeing is all within Manhattan.
Stoneheart Group is, but I'm pretty sure the French dude was in. I think he was in Queens, and I think the car thief is in the Bronx, which we didn't really. I don't know exactly where that story's
No,
going.
he lives Harlem.
Oh, which is close. It's up there. Um, it's at least you don't have to cross over the bridge. Um,
I don't
yeah,
know.
it's awfully spread out, but yeah, I'm just curious how these zombies. And like it was such a big deal that like the box had to cross over the bridge by sunlight, by sunrise. And so I'm like, so are they just going to turn Manhattan into this crazy thing and they don't care about the rest of the world? And I'm just kind of curious what the end game is for these vampires.
My guess, if I were to guess, I would think that if you're going to start it off, if you have like a confined area, it's easier to spread out in a confined area. Like if you've got something virulent, if I've got 20 people in a room, it's going to be easier for me to spread some of those 20 people if we're in a room than if we're in like a 20 block radius kind of thing. So if you expand that, maybe it's easier for them to spread if you're in a relatively confined place like an island. I don't know.
And yes, Chris, if you want to yell at the screen, you should definitely watch the stream.
Yes, we'll definitely.
Definitely.
Chris does have a question for us. To those of you who have watched these in the past and have been watching us for a while, you'll know, but Chris wanted to know if we have any contingency agreements for if one of us becomes a zombie.
We don't because we're convinced that our survivalist plans are so good that we wouldn't need one.
We spend so much time trying to figure out the right way to handle a zombie apocalypse. We think we've got a pretty solid plan.
We have a few different ideas.
A few different ideas, yes. So it's important to be flexible.
Yes.
So we have that ability to be flexible. Like, what's the best way to get out of town? How are we going to go? We had to come up with a horrible, horrible decision that was really, really tough. And actually, we had to talk a lot about this, leaving the cats behind. That was tough. We'd have to leave our pets behind. Because especially one of our cats, when that girl gets hungry, she just starts, meow! And if there's a zombie around, we're all dead. We're dead.
You just scared her right now.
She's like, what? Me? No! It's that one right there, too. She's the one. But yeah.
She's sad now.
Oh, I'm sorry, Widow. I'll come pet you in a little bit. You poor thing.
Yeah, like I'm convinced treehouse is the way to do it.
I think the treehouse has to be modified, but she does have some very strong points about the treehouse living.
And
I
of
think
course, it also depends on what kind of zombie, because there's, the Walking Dead zombie, which is what I'm basing everything on, and not the, like, oh God, what's the one where they all pile up on top of each other? The movie we didn't watch.
World War Z.
Yeah, those look frightening.
Yeah. It does depend on the kind of zombie. Obviously, the treehouse would not work with those kind of zombies, but with the traditional Walking Dead, the treehouse does work. And if you read the Zombie Survival Guide, which was a New York Times bestseller,
We have it.
we have it. I got it in a loot crate. They do suggest.
No, we don't bring the cats for food.
What? No.
No.
Chris. Unacceptable, sir. Unacceptable. We will not eat our kitty cats. We will let them out. We will open bags of food so that they will have a head start. And no. That hurts. I'm going to get that question off my screen. Ugh.
Ideas go north to the cold. That's a long way to travel.
Yeah, considering where we live, because we live in a subtropical climate, it would be tough for us to get up north where it's cold. So just honestly, it would be tough for us to make that trip and avoid the hordes of zombies.
Mm-hmm.
We would be better off getting to bodies of water closer to us. And we have thought that. That's one of our plans, is to head to bodies of water.
Mm-hmm. And then I have my mode of, like, short-term transportation, not like going long trips, but like if I just needed to go out, like, over there. Mark does not like this idea, but I think it's brilliant.
Go ahead and tell the world about your idea.
Okay, so you got to get, like, not like chicken wire, but like chain link fence, pretty good diameter, around a bike. Perfect. You can ride it. They can't reach you, but you can still stab them through the fence. Yeah. Attach this. Why? How? No.
You don't even let me answer. You just say no. No. Well, first of all, chain link, of course they can reach through and grab you. They can reach through a chain link.
It's got to be like a sturdy kind of fence kind of thing that's not collapsible, but it's going to have a frame. It's not just like chicken wire.
Point number 2. One of them runs into you from the side and knocks you over, and then what do?
No, because it's big enough that, I can only tip so far.
It's a car.
Huh?
It's not a bicycle anymore. That would be a car.
It's big enough to where their arms can't reach me if they stick their arms through, but then I can reach over and stab through the fence. Mm-hmm.
While you're riding a bicycle.
Whatever, I don't go that, but it's like to get to HEB down the street.
Yeah. Oh. Didn't Mythbusters do a thing about how easy it was for zombies to, like, actually knock down doors and stuff like that, like take down walls and everything? They did one where they were, like, surprised at how easy it was for, like zombies to knock down doors and stuff like that. So you just get a couple of them, and they will take you out. It is not a safe mode of transport. A chain link fence around a bicycle is not an acceptable mode of transportation during the zombie apocalypse. End of story.
It's still in development. Anyway, we have one more show.
We do. Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Yeah, we're just babbling tonight. We're just having fun tonight.
Whatever.
What's our show?
Face Off.
Face Off. Yay, Face Off is back, and it's fun.
It is, although it's still early enough that I didn't get pictures of everything, because even though they were in teams, there's still a lot of stuff. So I only have the winner and the loser here.
That's all we need. It was another... They keep trying to shoehorn in this life and death thing. They just need to stop with that.
Yeah, that's just silly.
It's just silly.
It's a reach.
Yeah, whatever. What was the theme this week?
Oh, it was gangsters. It was like Dick Tracy kind of style of gangsters, like, kind of over the top, kind of.
Yeah, if you guys watched the Dick Tracy movie where they, the name of the gangster was kind of immortalized on their face and how they were. So if your name was Eraserhead, you had an eraser on the head or something crazy like that. So they were supposed to take names of real life dead gangsters, because you probably didn't want to do a currently living gangster. They might not like that very much. But dead gangsters take their names and create a character based on that gangster and their name and everything.
Yes, and the ridiculous part was the losers did it to themselves. They were warned at least like twice, okay? the name of theirs had like something TikTok something, so the guy Barry on the group decides let's do a rat because he's a rat, he rats people out.
Yeah. And I don't
Nothing
even
to
know
do
if
with
that's part of
TikTok.
I'm not even sure that was part of the real gangster story. I just think he kind of made that up in his own little world and everything. But yeah, ignored the fact that it was TikTok. And his partner was like, we really should do something with the clock. And she had a sketch with a clock involved and everything. It made total perfect sense. But no, he was like, no, rat. What does that have to do with the name you were given? You were given TikTok.
Yeah,
And
they
you
were
make
even
a rat.
told by, the mentor guy, you really need to make sure it's got some sort of TikTok element. I was hoping he was going to say, well, it's like Hickory Dickory Dock, but they didn't even go for that. I was like, yeah, try something. So she at least made like this bomb thing at the end, which was, everyone agreed the best part of the outfit.
Yeah, the bomb was. Everybody said that the bomb was the best part of that makeup, and it's true. And it was the guy. He did it to himself.
Yeah.
He didn't listen to anybody else. He just wanted to make a rat. For some reason, this dude really wanted to make a rat and wouldn't listen to anything.
No, so it was bad idea and not really even that good execution.
He definitely went home, and he completely deserved to go home. Real quick, Eric says, "Oh, poor kitty. Don't." Eric, you have no idea, man. It was really hard to come up with that decision. I was trying to figure out ways to put the cats in the backpacks and just haul them around with us and everything, but man, I think we die with them. Oh, it's going to be bad.
Yeah,
And Chris really wants to see your contraption, but he agrees with me, so there.
whatever.
Whatever. In development, apparently.
Don't ask for my help getting groceries or anything.
I won't. I really won't. Because you're going to go out in this chain link bicycle. I am not. No.
On a sunny afternoon. Just
Yes, in your chain link bicycle.
maybe I'll put some little streamers and things on it. I don't know.
A little basket on front so you can put in your goods. Anyway.
Yes. So the winner, their gangster was some big tuna something, because I don't remember the actual name. And they did a great job.
Yeah, they hands down did the best job of anybody on the show.
Yes.
You can see looking at that thing, it just looks like a fish.
It does.
This great suit that added perfect weight, perfect proportion. Everything was great, and they gave him like great props and a great story to go with everything. Just everything just fit, and they like you even
his
look,
profile was great.
Yeah, his profile was great, and if you look at his mouth, how the jowls actually look like a fish's mouth kind of thing. They just sculpted everything perfectly for the character. I mean, that's
I
a
love
camera
the cigar.
ready. The cigar, yeah, sitting in the folds of his throat and everything. It's just a perfect camera ready makeup. I loved it. That's something that you would put on camera like right now.
Yep. Even his hair, like they kind of have it sticking up there in the middle, kind of like a fin on top. It was great.
Yeah, and it was really really well done. So they deserve to win.
And the tuna says good night because he'll beat you with the fish until you're sleeping with the fishes.
The last thing you see before you're sleeping with the fishes is what they said.
Yeah, that's it.
But it was great. They did an amazing job, and it makes me really excited about Sig. Sig was one of the guys that worked on this. He's kind of a quirky guy, and I was kind of curious if he'd be really good. But just seeing his perspective and his skill and how he handles everything, I'm really excited to see what this guy does because I think he could pull some really great things out. So, I'm excited about Sig.
Absolutely. There were some others that were pretty good. There was another one that was pretty bad, but not as bad as the rat. It was like this weird peanut head. It was not good.
It was a bad concept. There was some decent execution, but bad concept.
Yeah.
Ugh,
yeah.
So that was Face Off. We missed the preview, so we don't know what's coming on next week.
Aliens.
Aliens?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Aliens.
And it's Solo. Yeah.
Like ancient aliens that came down to Earth and made pyramids or something like that.
Something
ancient
like that.
aliens. So yeah, that'll be fun and exciting to see what happens. There are some good people this. I'm really looking forward to see what they can pull out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely, and that's it. Again, nothing new until Doctor Who on the 23rd.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff coming out soon. I actually had to go through because we're actually working at revamping our recaps a little bit. just a little bit. But we're working on revamping them and had to go through and get a lot of the launch dates. And there's a lot of stuff starting in the next month or so. There's a lot of stuff like The Flash is starting soon, Arrow is starting soon, Constantine's starting soon. So within a few weeks, we're going to have a lot of new shows to talk about on here. So many things to keep up with. Ugh.
Yes, unfortunately, that would make for a 2-hour show, so it's definitely going to get some revamping.
Yes, we cannot keep doing these 2-hour shows all the time. So just so you guys that are watching will know, we are going to be working on revamping these things, and we'll be doing multiple shows specific to shows that we're recapping in the future. So look for individual recaps for each show. That'll be shorter, more contained. If you want to talk to us about something, you can dial in and talk about that. And we're going to have different people within the channel hosting those shows. So Danny will host a couple of shows, mainly focused on comic book characters. Jedi Amanda is going to start hosting stuff on Jim Henson and Facebook and some other things. And we're working on getting all the kinks and schedule figured out. So that'll be changing in a few weeks. So hopefully you guys will stick with us on that. We think it's actually going to work better, since if you just want to talk about one show, you don't have to sit through 5 others to kind of find it. It'll help in a lot of ways. So keep an eye on that. We'll start making those changes over the next month or so. It's not going to be until after the Geeky Awards, because Danny is going to the Geeky Awards August 17th, because she just hit her GoFundMe goal. Thank you to everybody that helped get her out there. I actually was shooting with her this afternoon, and she was so excited. She shot me a text before I even went out there. She's like, "We made the goal. I'm going to the Geeky." She was so excited. So excited. So thank you so much to everybody that helped get Danny out there. I'm actually going to go out there as well, so we're going to actually try to shoot something. We'll shoot a pull list while we're out there. I think it'll be a good time. Keep your fingers crossed. She's got a lot of tough competition in this category. I mean, you're going up against Smosh. You're going up some people that have been pretty significant in the space. So really excited for her. Really excited for the Geekies. Even just going is going to be a blast. So keep your fingers crossed. We'll show you some stuff when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
So Elizabeth, you been watching anything on YouTube?
No, because I was stuck in a hotel with no Wi-Fi all week. But I have been watching something on TV that used to be online.
Oh God, yes, you are obsessed with this right now.
I just discovered Drunk History. I love it. Oh my goodness, it's awesome. And I think one reason I like it so much is because it's very similar to Kid Snippets on YouTube. Because, you know, Kid Snippets, it's these guys who have their kids tell stories and then they act them out with the kids' voices, you know, and they're mouthing along to the kids' voices. And on Drunk History, these guys get like historians drunk. Like, not just drunk, but wasted drunk, and they tell historical stories, and then the actors act it out. It's really, really funny.
It actually really is funny, and it's actually you can actually learn a little from it too.
You can.
But these are real historians. They know what they're talking about. They just happen to talk about it while they're drunk.
And it's funny enough that you'll probably remember it better than if you just heard the story.
There you go. So yeah, there's good stuff with Drunk History. You should check it out if you haven't watched it. It is pretty funny. I've been a little obsessed. I actually have watched these guys a lot in the past and haven't watched for a while, but I just saw another video recently. Walk Off the Earth is a band. It's a YouTube group that's gotten pretty popular and is touring a lot now, but you guys really need to check out Walk Off the Earth. They do a lot of covers and some originals, but they always do them in these really unique, different ways, and they've got guys that will show up in just these really quirky. You just really have got to check out Walk Off the Earth. Walk Off the Earth. Great band. Check them out. They're on YouTube. Search them. They're amazing. I've been watching a lot of them. And let's see. Is that it?
I think so.
Wow. All right. Yeah, we kind of went crazy tonight talking about all sorts of stuff, including zombie contraptions that aren't very practical in zombie apocalypses.
Whatever. All of our other ideas were good. And we agreed we're good.
We can make it. We can make it.
Mm-hmm. We have the skills.
You know, we might actually end up staying in the house initially because we think we can defend the house initially. We have enough space and we have separate areas so that we can defend the house initially, and then we'll take off. Because everybody's going to try to get out at once. You're going to get stuck in this mess. That's not smart.
That's what you saw in Walking Dead. All these highways jammed up with cars and people getting eaten out of their cars.
Yep. We're not going to be one of those people that's in like a ready-made can opener thing where they just open it up and be like, ooh, lunch. No.
Yeah, there's not that many ways out of Austin, really. So, yeah, no.
There's really not. With that river, you're really limited with the river cutting it in half. Liverhead? Riverhead.
Yeah, you said that.
I thought I said. I
Mm-hmm.
think the only thing we have to figure out is we would need to destroy our stairs going up to the second floor, and haven't figured out how to do that yet. But we got time. We
Yes,
got time. There's time for that. Anyways, that's all we got. I think we're gonna bail for the evening. So you guys, thanks again for watching and everything. Keep watching for all the changes. We're gonna keep doing the weekly recaps for another few more weeks, and we're gonna slowly start transitioning over to individual shows hosted by different people that can recap stuff. Hopefully that works better for you guys. I think it's gonna work better in the grand scheme of things. At least we hope so. So keep watching for that. Oh yeah, and Chris, you helped Danny out a lot with the GoFundMe.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. I sincerely can't express to you how much it meant for her to see you do that for her. That it meant a lot. Cannot express how much. Thank you so much for that. I'll buy you a beer sometime. Not quite. It's not quite tit for tat, but I'll do what I can. But anyway, please watch the shows. We are going to bail for the evening because I'm tired and I've got a lot of videos to edit tomorrow. And that's pretty much it. Elizabeth, you got to say anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, then we are going to see you guys later. Thanks for watching again, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Later.